thoughts on that, so it's interesting game.
Well, I mean, anytime you play a third and fourth match, it's obviously going to be difficult to motivate the guys, something to play for. I think in the case of both teams, I know I watched that Braehead game after ours. I think it's fair to say that ourselves and they left everything out on the ice. Guys were obviously very disappointed last night, maybe a little bit of physically and emotionally drained. But we picked ourselves up today, and it's tough. Those games are funny because my thoughts are I obviously don't want anybody to get hurt, and B, when you're not really playing for anything and your season's over, it's difficult. But I guess it was entertaining in some respects. A few nice goals in that.
Nice to see some of the Scottish getting a bit more ice time and their own goals as well.
Well, that was always going to be one of the factors of today's game. There's been some boys on our bench that haven't played a great deal in the last couple months, but a little experience and justified, pardon me, in the fact that they sat with us all year. They certainly contributed to the first half of our year, and a little bit of reward for them as well, and soak up the atmosphere.
That much of a surprise was it Braehead coming back so strong in the third period?
I think, well, in a game like that, I mean, you could tell. I mean, the ebb and flowed. Like, we went out. It didn't look like they were going to score a goal at all. Just the way it was working out. Regan was pretty busy, and so was Blair. But you've seen, like, maybe in the last 5 minutes, all of a sudden both teams wanted it. It's a long game to look into it, but the last 5 minutes the pace picked up. We went in overtime, and you can tell that a few of the guys' competitive spirit came out. But it's fine.
Derek, some of the Scottish players got a lot of action tonight as well. What have you made of the performances of the Scottish players tonight and over the season?
They played well throughout the season. Whether they've logged a lot of minutes or not, they've always been positive attitude, positive vibes on the bench, and even in practice during the week, they come and work hard and give us a break every now and then. So it was good to see them get a couple goals out there, Scooney. It was good. It was good fun.
What was your take on the weekend as well, in the game yesterday?
It was unlucky. I keep hearing that word a lot, and I guess I'll go with it. It was an unlucky game yesterday. It was a battle, both teams. Unfortunately, we came up short. It wasn't a lack of chances. It was just the way it worked out. But it was unlucky. It's a good game, and they're a good team too. I'm not taking anything away from them, but that's it.
Todd, this was your first experience of this weekend as a coach. Now that you've experienced it, you want more of it now, don't you?
Yeah, I think that it definitely was something that was always kind of off in the distance. This Elite League finals kind of been the property of 4 or 5 teams for a lot of years. This year, us and Braehead kind of upset that apple cart a little bit, but I think well deserved to be there. It was a great experience. I think they do a great job here, and to be honest, that Saturday game, I haven't been that excited for a hockey game for a long time. Great atmosphere, and you're absolutely right. I think that now that the team has realized what it's capable of, hopefully we get a lot more of it in the future.
Thoughts on next season, Todd? Would you like to keep hopefully a majority of these guys on for next year?
Yeah, it's funny because every time you have some success with a team, that's people's first question. We should keep the team back. We should bring them all back. There's a lot of factors in that involved. I'll be having my year-end meetings with these guys all this week. We'll give our thoughts and give them some feedback. We'll see where their head's at. I know that, for example, last year, which was viewed as a very successful year by making the quarterfinals, everybody wanted that entire team back, but circumstances, a lot of guys retired. So we'll have more of an idea what guys' plans are, and certainly have a chance to sit down with the directors and figure out the direction that we want to take. Obviously, to improve on this year is the goal, we'll have to see.
Todd Dutiaume, the Flyers fans for for 15 years now, so you've got a really good idea of how they think. How much additional pressure is there going to be next season to not just make it to the playoffs, but to get back to this weekend?
Yeah, well, I think it was a mistake at the start of the season because what we did when people came in, we talked and we alluded to last year, and I think certainly with a fresh team that put a lot of pressure on us, maybe a lot of unneeded pressure. We finally found a way to release that and then became very successful. But you can see, we talked about this numerous times, we only made a couple simple changes to the lineup, maybe 2 personnel changes or 3 personnel changes. So the team that you saw perform this weekend was the exact same team that was working hard in November, just not getting the results. But that's the same thing with the fans. At the start, we were written off. I don't think attendance has necessarily dropped. They were steady all year, but as soon as we started winning, the attendance just shot through the roof. So there is a demand for good hockey to play in Kirkcaldy, and expectations will be high next year. But you have to remain level-headed about this because there's teams that missed out in this finals weekend here and maybe didn't perform so well in the league that are going to come back even stronger. And I think that's good for the league. We only had a 16-point disparity between 2nd and 9th place, and if the league continues on at that competitive level, I think it's only good for the league. But it's only going to make it more difficult to qualify for the league, Challenge Cup, playoffs, all that. So, but it'll be a good challenge.
And a lot's been made about how the team progressed this year, but in terms of yourself and your associate coach Danny Stewart, I mean, how important a learning experience has this been for you guys?
It's certainly a grander stage, but I mean, when you're in Kirkcaldy in front of a sellout crowd, I mean that's pressure as well because you sense that big expectation on your shoulders. But I think here, it's a carnival-like atmosphere. There's fans from all over the country, and I think it's a lot of fun for the people who come and pay to watch us. But you're right. I mean, as a coaching staff, it's valuable experience for us. We're not always in, certainly the last couple of years in the big games. But I mean, the boys did us proud. I mean, I was sitting back. I didn't really have much to do in the Belfast game. Obviously, didn't change the lines or tweak a few things, but they laid it on the line and made my coaching experience very, very easy this weekend.
Derek, how much have you enjoyed this season? How sad are you that the season's over now?
I really enjoyed it. So obviously off to a slow start. Like you said before, we basically had the same team that we started with, but we just weren't getting the results early. It was a lot of fun, coming back and obviously basically shocking everybody from being written off to making it to the final weekend was a big accomplishment here, and even the game that we played yesterday, I thought I was proud of the guys too. So I was all around proud to be a part of this program this year, and it was unlucky that we came up short, but it was a great experience.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.